Let it reset, there you go, okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Today we have our zoning citation hearings, Wednesday, December 2024. 6 items on the agenda, and hopefully we will get through this as quick as possible. Counselor, I'll be ready.
I'm trying to find my new.
Brenda?
Yeah, no agenda, right? My introductory remarks, I wonder what happened to them.
Ooh, that's not.
Well, nevertheless, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Gary Overs, I'm the hearing officer for today. To my right is John Hayducky, who's the deputy zoning inspector. To his right is Ian Hall, who's another deputy zoning inspector. When I call your matter, you can come to the table or you can address us through electronic means. If you are an interested party, you will also be given an opportunity to be heard. The city will present its findings, then the cited parties will have the chance to speak, then anybody else will have a chance to speak, and we'll try to reach a conclusion. And if not, I'll make a decision. If you have any questions, bring them to my attention when I call your matter. The first matter we're going to address is,
Yeah, we'll do the first matter, we're going slightly out of order just to allow the first couple of items to get here in case they're running a little late. We're gonna start with item number 4, which is 287 East Avenue. We know they're not attending today, they gave us a friendly heads up. Since I should just share screen there. Yeah.
I got 2 of these.
Oh, that one's for me, no.
It's not confusing.
Okay, I got it.
Have you had these people here before?
We did, yes. It's been a while, but yes.
Okay.
Okay, so, this is a little brief summary there for those at home. The parking in question was creation of a parking surface in the front setback by removing required landscaping, was required by zoning board of appeals. So the skinny is they have replanted, but there's some interesting nuggets here, so we'll dive into the presentation. So here's our hearing notice that we sent on the 5th via Constable Bondi for today's hearing. Now I don't have Constable Bondi's receipt in the presentation, but it is in the hearing officer's packet. Constable Bondi got a little late this morning to get that to me before my presentations, so we do have it. Anybody at home wishes to see it, they can come on down to planning and zoning during office hours and take a look. And that goes for anything else in these files. So last time we were here was September 26th. And at that time, that time was the previous time we were here for this. It was the first time we were here for it. And at that hearing, very simply continued it to November 13th. One may say that why is this on today, not the 13th? If anyone be so kind as to continue. Basically what happened was, and this is just a little reminder, a little photo of what the issue was. You can clearly see there's supposed to be some plantings there in the front. Yeah, be so kind there we go. Now that's the other side of the house. Each side is supposed to mirror each other. So this is a photo that I took, I think it was in November 13th, when we were supposed to have that hearing. Now, the issue here lies in the required plantings that you see are in the buckets there. They're in the, ready to get put in. The vehicle is parked in the driveway in a rather unique configuration. So I think I have another picture in there. As you see the close-up right there, the wheels are definitely in the driveway, but not all the vehicle. And then that's a little close-up of the plantings that were they were gonna go in the near future there. So here's the problem. Sent that notice for the hearing on November 13th. However, the deputy zoning inspector accidentally sent this to the wrong Peter in my contacts, not Constable Peter Bondi, but rather Building Inspector Peter Kelly. So, that notice was defective, so we kicked it to this month. And that was the hearing, that was the notice you saw in the, front of the presentation. So, yesterday we went by and saw the landscaping's back in the front. And there you go, there's the two little plants in the side and the big one. So obviously I grow a little bit like those, but, so landscaping is back. The only interesting fact to, if we wanted to mull over, is that while the required landscaping for the ZBA is back, the issue and the complaint is parking in the front setback. The wheels of the vehicle that they own one large vehicle there, are in the driveway, and that is how they are parking. The neighbor has informed me that that is their regular mode of parking. So basically what they do is they pull into the curb cut a little bit, then back out a little bit, and they settle nicely on the driveway. The question is, to bring it all together, is that a tandem parking situation? Given that there is a vehicle in the garage. So I guess the debate here is the required landscaping is put back. Give it a few months after the winter there, it'll probably be nice and robust like the other plant there. The landscaper that I did briefly talk to about this, said it's the same plantings that are on the other side, just needs a little time to grow. So I think it's worth the discussion, but on the flip side,
What do they cite it for?
they are, if you look at the decisions on there, it's on the decision, the last page. It's in the envelope there. There. I think I have it on the usual second page there. Always write it down. Next page. That guy right there. Parking, requirements of the zone. So basically parking within the front yard, front setback.
Front yard for this. So that's what they were cited for, so what has that got to do with the
Well, the idea is the
landscaping?
Well, the landscaping was put in by the zoning board of appeals, and I have their decision, their certificate here to quote unquote prevent parking in the front setback. However, the landscaping is, and if, I don't have the maps up, if you were to do Google Street View, 3 of the houses that are in that block have the same landscaping setup, because they were all approved by ZBA of various
So
sizes.
but what is our violation we're responsible for about?
The regulations are creation of parking within the front yard or setback. In these residential zones, parking is permitted only in the rear yard or the driveway.
And this is a driveway.
Once the wheels are in the driveway, the rest of the vehicle, maybe not.
And the neighbor's complaining.
The neighbors, if you wanna say complaining, you can say that, they're following up. And I said, well, they're on for our hearing today, and we'll make a decision. Now, they can tell us being a little evasive, but
They didn't show up either.
the owner did not show up. The landscaper's in town, and was the owner popped in this morning?
Yes.
Oh, was the owner, okay, I haven't spoken to the owner. I've only spoken to the landscaper, thing evangelist.
Recording's on, it's heads up.
The neighbor hasn't shown up.
The neighbor has not shown up till here.
So you're claiming the main problem is there may be a car in the garage?
Well, there definitely is a car in the garage, so we have to assume that there is one there.
Why do we have to assume?
I'd say it's, the required parking is one parking space behind the
No, I understand,
Setback.
but you haven't shown me evidence that there's a car in the
No,
garage.
that's correct. There's no evidence that there is one. And that garage is their required parking.
But they're also allowed to park in there.
They are allowed to current.
If there's no car in the garage, there's no problem. Is that fair to say?
I would say. Maybe. Here's why. Because the,
I thought this was gonna be simple.
well, I was hoping it was, but maybe not. The regulations are for parking the front setback is to keep vehicles out of the front setback, the front yard. It boils down to what are we considering the act of parking? Is it where the wheels and the frame are, or is it where the entire vehicle is?
Precedent for this, what do we normally consider?
In a situation like this has never happened to me before.
So you're telling me, 'cause the wheels are in, because it's
And
overhang.
go to the next picture there. There you go. Yeah. So the front end's not a great picture, but the back end is definitely
I can see
outside
It's
the
over the
drive.
wheels are on the drive.
In my 17 years here, I've never seen somebody try to park parallel in their driveway. The wheels are not in the front yard. They're in a spot where it's required, where it's allowed. And I said, somebody's gonna be somebody's gonna be unhappy with our determination.
Oh, yeah,
It's either gonna be the.
everybody here.
In this particular case, either the neighbor's not gonna be happy if
Is the
we,
neighbor gonna be happy when he parks in front of his house?
well, that's the only other option they have. This side of the street, there is no street parking. The other side, there is, and that is where the complaints are originating across the street. So if this gentleman decides to park in the street, it's gonna have to be on that side, because it's illegal to park on that side of the street.
If it was a Mini Cooper, would we,
Well, and that's, I guess that's the other argument you can think of. What if that was a smaller vehicle? Well, if that was just a very basic sedan or a Mini Cooper or a scooter or a motorcycle? It'd be in the driveway. We probably be having this discussion.
This is still qualifies as a car, it's not a vehicle, it's not a truck.
Right, this is a passenger vehicle, perfect. It's their choice to have a.
I think it's gonna be better if we don't kick him across the street, and if the neighbor wants to complain, you can warn him that that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay, that's more than fine.
Violation cured. Based
Yeah.
on the evidence.
We have a few, I know Cindy and Claire, I know Diane and I are good friends. If you wanted to see, just ask Diane which one she's here for. Yeah, allowed to talk. Diane, it's, John, unmute, there you go.
there you go.
Hey, Diane, how you doing?
Hi, I'm not actually, it's not normal at meetings for someone to call out someone in the audience. I'm a little surprised, actually.
Well, I just want to make sure that your name's on here. That's how I know I can call your name, so I know who you are. And then, I just want to make sure
But
if you're here for a particular item, that you get your chance to speak.
Well, I didn't have my hand raised.
That's.
So, and, you know, just
I'm
to,
just making sure because
Yeah.
I never want to be that guy that doesn't allow somebody their opportunity to speak.
yep, and, you know, and for the future, you know, if I do, I want to raise my hand. I'm just basically observing, but I found this, the case I just hopped onto very interesting that, the way this vehicle is parked, within the driveway is actually a cure for, how the regulations read for the front setback. Because obviously this is not the intent of having the driveway as an exclusion. And this is indicative of the, a major problem we have in East Norwalk, almost all over the community of residential density and new zones, compared to what the parking requirements are. And I think that the pictures you have illustrate this very well. So I think other like-minded people may dispute the fact that the rule would be whether or not those tires are in the driveway. Since you haven't encountered this before, I'm not quite sure. But I will leave this to whatever neighbors, if they want to reach out to the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association, they're certainly welcome to, and we can assist, but I'll leave it to the neighbors who originally looked for your assistance on this to see if they want to pursue it any further. Thanks, John.
Yeah, no problem. And just for anybody out there as well, yeah, this is a unique situation, so this may be something that the office may have the consideration to revisit for an amendment to a regulation or an adjustment. It is a very unique situation, but sometimes things like this are what are the motivation to fix a regulation.
So I'm gonna say no, fine,
That's it.
case dismissed.
Violation cured, file closed. Skip down now and give folks a chance to come in. We knew this guy wasn't coming in today, so we'll just get this done a little bit.
You don't
Okay.
make it something.
Yeah, there, that's like a long.
Thank you, Chris. Okay.
Just keep that side panel open so
Yeah.
comes and goes and what's going on. All right, well, we have, I know one of the folks there that wants to speak, they are here for 26 Magnolia. The owner is not here.
Who's here?
Are you here for anything in particular?
Martin Luther King. Is that?
We can. Go ahead, do council, you're.
She's here, let's let her speak.
There.
I think
They're not
you're
gonna
a
come.
concerned citizen, so that's
Go ahead.
not necessarily the owners are not here.
Oh, I see. But she wants to speak on it, right?
Sure,
Well, I wanted to hear what was actually,
oh, sure,
yeah.
Yeah, we'll take it,
we'll do that one quick,
we'll do this one.
we can do that.
So, I'm okay.
You're good, yes, for the moment, yes.
And
Noreen, I'll let you know when you're in trouble.
okay.
Okay, there it is. Memo. So for those at home, we're still real quick, 215 Martin Luther King Drive. Okay. So, as a little refresher for folks at home there, 215 Martin Luther King, we have occupancy of a parcel of land without proper approvals and permits. The company's two men and a truck. Some at home may know that company. So most recent, applications were made to the city. Some of the applications, not necessarily zoning, were deficient. And the zoning application to the commission, was up against the deadline for state statute for it to be heard. So that was more of a state requirement. So therefore, due to both of those circumstances, new applications are required. Both to the conservation office, because there is a wetland there, and to our office, obviously. For all of us, it's a little bit easier, they're just gonna cut and paste and resubmit. So we wanted to keep going. The last time we were here, this is the hearing notice for today, my apologies. And again, Constable Bondi got back a little late to me today, but the constable services in the packet of the hearing officer.
So,
Okay, very good. So last time we were here as a group discussing this was September 4th. And at that time, it was continued to today. And there was a contingent fine of $30,000 levied. Again, this is contingent, not assessed. Yeah, so it was all basically for the contingency was to get applications to everybody. So just as a little update as to what's happened since September, Brian Baker, our principal planner, has been in contact with the owners of the, well, not the owners of the company, of the manager of the location. So he needed a few things there, and his recommendation in October was to withdraw, because if they did not, their application would have been denied.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, just a little bit there, just, yeah.
But a little bit.
Never
mind.
So, and then there's also, some technical issues that, were done, but they needed to submit a new application by the 10th to potentially avoid issues here. So obviously today's the 11th. So, we have the hearing officer has the correspondence. It's quite lengthy, but what I did for those of us at home, on November 6th, the manager of the property said to Brian that they are going to withdraw the application and refile as quickly as possible. The gentleman there in the email, Andy, is their engineer from Land Tech, who's making the applications for them. I continue them, you know, and it's 6 pages worth of correspondence back and forth. So on December 6th, I decided to email Andy at Land Tech just to see, hey, I haven't gotten anything since your last email. What's the deal here? And he said that hoping to get something for Wednesday. End of year is tight right now. We'll reassess on Monday, which that would be the 9th. And see if they need to January. They were hoping to avoid that. Can you do that? So now here's the thing. I got an email at about 10 o'clock this morning from Andy. It's again in the hearing officer's packet that they stated they will have, they put this in writing, a application in by Friday for all departments, wetlands and zone. So where does that leave us? They do need there's no doubt about it, they need an application to occupy. They need special permit, they need inland wetlands. The process, even if done at proper pace, would have taken several months anyway, because of commission hearings. There's stormwater management that needs to go on there, a whole litany of things. So, but then I do also recognize they're occupying, operating, making money with no permits. So, recommendation of staff is to continue this to get them on a agenda. However, I would like to see the contingent fine increased to a much more substantial number. I'm thinking around $50,000. Again, it's contingent. We can put any stipulation on that we wish.
what has their activity been as rapid as possible or is delayed? What is your feeling? How are they behaving?
I do believe that they are, compared to a lot of folks that come in front of us, they are making an attempt. This particular parcel does have a lot of working parts. It's on Martin Luther King. There's some restrictions for utility placement. Eversource is gonna be a big, issue for them. Wetlands is obviously an issue. And they've hired, a reputable firm to handle this. I think they did honestly run into some issues they may not have anticipated. But again, that being said, this has been here for a little bit, it has been in front of us. And for quite some time.
When did we issue $30,000 contingent?
I believe that was at either the last
September.
hearing or the one before it. The. I
Sorry,
can,
let's go to this.
I can pull that out.
I think that was September. Yes.
Yeah, September we upped it. I think it was originally 10,000. We upped it to 30.
Mhm.
Um. Make sure.
Let's see.
Yes, in May, it was a $10,000. That was the first time they were really in here, getting things together. I think they were on the hopeful side that it would be an easier process, but, that's not the case.
Well, I'm not inclined to agree with you, since we put it at 30 and they're doing everything they reasonably can. So what, let's continue it. Always,
I definitely agree a continuance would be, so I was just looking to get something to ensure that they keep,
got $30,000.
that's a big number. I will give you that. That is a big number, more than what I can afford, that's for sure.
I don't think there's a real difference between 30 and 50. I'd rather next time around, it could be 80 if they haven't done it.
Yeah, I mean, if we do kick it to the, next hearing for them, it would be, close to $80,000. So it's pretty base. I was just trying to get something intermediate there.
Let's put that in the decision, how much the fine could be, but that's just, oh, I'm sorry, you were speaking?
Yes, so, I wanna know how long have they been operating out of compliance with the city? And in that spot? And who owns that property and allowed that to happen?
Fair enough, I can shed light on that. The exact date is a good question. However, we sent a citation or a notice in October of 2023.
Should she be sworn in or?
We need a, mention on the record. Who was speaking.
You're not testifying, you're questions.
Okay, enough, that's up to you.
Just a second,
And then, so the ownership, the owner of the property is in, I said the owner of the property is in North Carolina, it's an LLC. I have not heard anything from them. I've been dealing with the property manager, the franchisee for this particular spot, and his manager and the engineer.
So the property owner who's not local is renting this space to them, or have they bought?
They are now, I believe the,
Leasing or renting or?
I think the way that I understand the way this is going is that the corporation it's in North Carolina. They actually are the franchisee leg of Two Men in a Truck. The Two Men in a Truck is a national corporation. So they own the franchise. So this franchise, has purchased the land. So that is definitely Two Men in a Truck owner. Is there? But it's, I guess, how I understand the corporation that has it, it's that corporation owns the parcels, even though they're not under the name Two Men in a Truck, which is wild to me, but that's what, it makes sense, because they have the Two Men in a Truck locally has been the go-between, and we haven't gotten any legal representation from the corporation, so makes sense a little bit.
So you said from 2023,
Correct,
so over a year, right? They've been in violation.
correct.
And so we keep slapping people on the hand. I don't understand. So how do we collect that $30,000?
So let's, first, it does have to be, become assessed. So when it's assessed, where it's 30,000, it could be the next time we're here, 80,000, whatever the number is. Then I send that decision form to our corporation council. This goes to, Stanford Superior Court. It gets signed off by the court there as a legal judgment. And then corporation council place that on the land records as a lien. And then at that point, to an extent, my job's done here. The corporation council can start a foreclosure proceeding to collect, can get an injunction. And now with recent state legislation, once it's on the land records, we can have a tax sale. Prior to October of this year, that wasn't possible, but now that is. Those are the three routes that we would have. In theory, with any fine that we assess, unless somebody willingly comes in and they either pay for it outright or they're on a reasonable payment plan. It goes, we sign it, goes to the corporation council, courts, back to corporation council, land records. And then it's up to council here to how we collect it.
So it sounds like you're extending this, you're giving them more opportunities to do the right thing. They haven't submitted the applications as they should. And then how do you purchase the property?
Well,
Because I think you said new application needed by 10/12, but I'm sure it was needed before then, right? Or.
well, it was, so they did submit an application
Mhm.
when they got our initial notice. And then we submit an application, do a review of it for completeness.
Mhm.
And if it is incomplete, because we have state statutes, once you accept the application for a special permit or site plan, you have X amount of days to get it in front of the commission, to get it in front for a hearing. If it's incomplete and it goes in front of the commission, it gets denied.
Mhm.
But if they're incomplete and they're trying to get more information to us, they have to either withdraw or they just go in front of the hearing in front of the commission for automatic denial.
So they were told to come here today. They sent you a letter saying that they would have everything by Friday, right?
Right, that was the engineering firm who's actually doing the
Okay,
application.
and so if they don't get it Friday,
Mhm.
then what? Then I hear you said something about next year, like February or something, or.
That would be the next opportunity they could be on here for our hearing. So if they get in by Friday, in theory, they can be on a hearing with us, wetlands, where else is needed in January. And it'll be heard and hopefully decided on by the commission. That's at their pace. And if they get approval, great. Then they have to get all the appropriate permits through us, building, fire, the whole kit, Google. You guys are like,
Can they opt, so once they get the paperwork in, and so if they haven't gotten all those approvals, aren't they operating out of compliance now and
Oh,
will be even more then? And so
If they get
how do
denied.
you shut down a business
Well,
that's
that's the-
operating out of compliance?
that is I'm glad you asked. I'm glad that technically, we cannot shut them down. The way the process goes, we can fine and compel. And then the only way to do that would be to go with the corporation council to start a foreclosure process. So inside our four walls here, there's nothing we can do is shut somebody down, or same thing concept with illegal apartments. Or even somebody just has a simple unregistered vehicle on their property. We can't.
You can't do that from a
physically-
state level or city?
Well, it would be it can be all be done by the city, but it's just out of the zoning.
So we just don't have it in our zone regs to shut someone down, is that what you're saying?
We just had
We have no
Basically, it's-
capacity to do that?
we have no capacity here to do it, and I'm pretty certain the only capacity we would have here, we'd have to bring it to the attorneys. It'd have to be through the court.
We can just find them,
Yeah.
that's all we can do.
Right.
So the wetlands, they don't, pose an even greater, like, environmental issue or something? Where
Well, your
you can
problem-
possibly say, hey, you've gotta,
It would be the same thing.
Same thing.
It'd be through the courts. It'd be through the courts, and we don't have any, the best we could do here, the two options we have, if somebody has a permit and they're in gross violation, we can revoke the permit, send them a citation, start this process, fine them, and go to foreclosure. If they don't have a permit, well, that skips the revocation process because there's no permit to revoke. Come here, you know, if, it is the old saying I tell a lot of folks here, and I'm sure somebody will see it online here, that if, yeah, if somebody really just doesn't want to pay and doesn't want to be in compliance, it's on them. The fine, we can keep issuing fines here and putting it on the land records, and if they're not compelled by $50,000, $30,000, you and I would be, but they're
Well, we
not.
have no teeth, so why would you be compelled to do it? You
The
just
only
wait
teeth would be,
and sell it.
I mean, to be completely honest, the only teeth that I think would be helpful is if we did foreclose on properties. But again, that's out of my,
It's diminishing the value of their investment.
But it also
Lien is still-
diminishes the value of the community when you have to
Yeah.
deal with people who have properties like that, so you devalue the community too.
You're right.
absolutely, yeah, it is a, it's a better, I would like to tell folks, I've been here enough long doing this, is that it's better than what we had before, because things literally just sat there and nothing happened. We couldn't even, the most we could find them was $2,000. So to me, I feel this is better of a process than what we had. But again, to your point, there's only so much we can do here. We can just find.
The vast majority of what we hear ultimately gets cured.
Yeah.
Not as fast as anybody would like.
Mhm.
That's the way it is.
We do
But
have
it
a
needs to
hand
change.
raised.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, we have here, right, Blair, yep, allowed to talk. There we go. She should be able to.
Hi. I'm actually just a concerned citizen curious about this process, but I am also involved with Nancy on Norwalk to a degree. I'm just really curious, why is this a contingent fine and not a fine? If they're not in compliance, what is it contingent on? And I assume it's contingent on the application being accepted, but we're now a year plus into this. Why isn't it just a fine?
If I find them, then we start the process all over again. Whereas I now have 70-some thousand dollars, I can find them. If I make that 30,000 a fine, it'll be a long time to build up that kind of money again. So I find the contingent fines wake them up because they can get it done and not pay a fine. Or I could always fine them, but the contingent fine lets them understand what they're facing if they don't do it.
But it's contingent on what?
On my feeling that they're doing what they should have done.
So you're
Back
ultimately, they're
to-
not, but
back to
ultimately
the
they can do business for 2 years with no fines in violation.
It's possible.
And how often does that occur? How often do you put contingencies as opposed to just fine them?
Almost every time. It's much more effective. And by the time it's over, a lot of the fines have gone through. They didn't do what they were supposed to. And it's just a better way to do it, I have found in my years doing this. It doesn't sound great. It sounds like, oh, we'll get away with it.
Well,
My
yeah,
job is to get it, my job is to get them in compliance. And I have much more leverage by using the contingent fine than by making it non-contingent and starting all over again. It'll be a long time till we can get another $30,000. Right now, I'm sitting here with something like $70,000. That they're facing 74,000 right now. By next time around, it'll
So-
be 80,000.
yeah.
I've got 30, so I could hit them with 50 more by next time.
If they decided to walk away, would they still have to pay the fine? If they decided to move their business somewhere else, they still pay those fines?
Well, I wouldn't leave it contingent. I would make it a fine.
So,
They
yeah,
have to pay though, once they.
They're not obligated to pay. It goes against the property. Property is.
oh, it'll be a lien on the property. Okay. All right.
Liens on the property, it gets paid whenever the property changes hands or if the city decides to foreclose.
And one other question, then I'll let you guys continue, but what percentage do you think, so you're saying basically most of the fines that you assess are contingent, not actual?
They're always, first time out is always contingent.
Yeah, okay. All right, thanks.
Very welcome.
And anyone else? Anybody else going once, going twice? Right. Okay,
Big brother?
okay.
Can I ask, so what happens when they don't come to this? So what,
So
so
they don't get
just,
to, I don't get to hear them.
Yeah, so basically, they're beneficiary to somebody coming to a hearing is that they can present a mitigating factor. So they could say, they can give something to say why something's not done, you know, to say, oh, maybe we shouldn't have a fine, a contingent fine. They can make an argument. I mean, without them here, it's a pretty one-sided argument. I mean, I have to tell the truth. I have to tell, you know, when people submit emails to come talk to me and things like that, but I'm giving what. I'm just giving a synopsis of what's happened in my realm of this
Mhm.
office since the last time we were here.
Mhm.
I don't know any other, if you don't tell me or you don't show up, there's no mitigating, so you're just getting, the hearing officers are getting one side of the story. So yeah, I always try to encourage people to show up, even if it may not end well, show up.
Can't hurt.
No, I can't, that, right,
Okay.
get my schedule out here.
All right, contingent fine, violation continues, contingent fine of $30,000 remains. There has been progress underway with professional help. So that to me is also a mitigating factor. Continue to when you want this,
To get that number we were talking about there, that 70-80,000, that would be February 12th. And that also allows for, if they are true to their word and getting an application in by Friday, there are potential hearings they can go on for zoning and wetlands in January.
okay, that should be,
And then, all right. 15. Is it 15?
The,
212, that's it. That's it. 212. Don't have the same thing I had previous problem telling someone the wrong date.
hold on, we're talking of February 12th. We
February,
have a hearing, okay,
all right, yes,
it's on my calendar.
very good, that's half about it. I think we should probably go to Magnolia. Let's do that, 'cause I think we got a couple people here for that one, and that's a
okay.
that's a good one. It's gonna be a little lengthy, but I think it's worthwhile here.
What is the fine assessment discussion?
That's if Michelle Leona shows up.
Well, she knows it's gonna, this is her chance.
This is her chance, yes. Give her an opportunity to get here,
I
but,
put her down.
yep.
32 Perry with the.
That one is gonna ask for a continuance because the owner's out of town.
Okay, so
What's that one?
what's two more?
That's a new one. That's another occupancy with no permit. Same thing, kind of like Martin Luther King. I'm not sure if they're gonna show up or not. I haven't gotten any word on that.
All right, so you like Magnolia for some reason? You wanna do-
Yeah,
You got
I said,
someone.
we got folks here in the
Oh,
audience, for that.
Okay, oh,
That's
great,
fine.
okay.
So people aren't, waiting around all day.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what. So what I have here, some slightly different. Other than, here's my, so this is the first time here, so it's a little short. So what I have here in this folder. I have, here's the initial complaint, we're trying, we got yelled at by YouTube again about putting people's personal information on YouTube.
Public information.
Public information, but they don't, YouTube doesn't listen to that. So that's the initial complaint, and I have another complaint up here from another agency, so we can, so do the presentation. And these two emails here are from neighbors that they wanted to give to you, but we just got them this morning.
Okay. So does anybody here who wants to testify on this?
I think,
How do I get back to the screen?
just hit a stop share for a second. There you go.
You said Cindy?
I'm pretty sure, she's on the phone though, so let's,
That's in mute.
yeah, let's see,
Oh, there she
yeah,
is.
oh, yeah. Cindy, can you hear us?
Yes,
Perfect. Counselor?
Just a second.
Oh, sure, yeah.
This is two different.
Right.
Okay, who's here?
Cindy,
Cindy, you want to testify on this matter?
yes, I would love to.
Would
Um,
you, excuse me, would you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Is there somebody else who wants to testify?
I do not believe so.
Raise your hand for everybody. please.
Yeah, if anybody wants to comment on this one, feel free to raise your hand, now that we have a little panel open there.
Okay, we're gonna let Mr. Hideki go. Tell us why we're here.
All right, very good. We're good. Yeah, Cindy, we're gonna mute you for a half second there and then,
Okay.
we'll get back to you when I'm done.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the actual presentation and like I said, it's a bit meaty. So we did get a citizen's complaint for this in addition to reference from the fire marshal at the time, Inspector Sawyer. And this was for a multifamily which was created within a single family house, 26 Magnolia. Yeah, keep going there. So that was back in November 2023. Before I was able to procure an inspection, the health department was able to, along with the fire marshal's office, get inside the property. And there's a little breakdown there of what they found. So first floor was a kitchen. And so one unit, not a problem. Second floor, they made into an apartment with separate locking doors and separate living spaces. Third floor was a complete kitchen, complete apartment. Only one egress, so that made that a big no-no with health and fire. And then lastly, the detached garage was also made into a living unit. And this was the email exchange between myself and the inspectors. Their fellow inspectors. So first photo we have here on the screen, just an idea of where this is. This is on corner of Truman and Magnolia, kind of where Magnolia splits a little bit there with the island in the middle. Get on there, and there we go. So this photo, I believe, is from 2016, I think, or something like that. So 2019, sorry. Google Street View, very simple. The reason I want to show this here is that shows a fully open front porch in 2019. Keep that in the back of your mind. In 2016, same thing, fully open. This is a view from Truman. This is a 2023 aerial photo from March. And basically what this is showing is a staircase to the upper level. And you can see the front porch is enclosed. On the front, there's a little bit of distance, but we have some close-ups coming up. So there we go. So these were forwarded from the health department. And as you can see, they enclosed half the front porch. Create a separate entry within that enclosure. You can keep going. So the first floor was just their normal single family kitchen, so they didn't have, we don't have any photos of that because that's legal. The second floor, however, this is a kitchenette, and there's also a full bathroom, and there's key locks on the door to get in, so it's a separate entrance. Yeah, there's a close up of separation lock. Yep. Third floor, so here's the outside entrance, a hastily built staircase up to the third floor. Close up of those stairs. Yeah, so this is the interior staircase leading to the apartment on the third floor. We have a deadbolt and a key lock there, so that's a separation lock. This is the interior of the attic, no headroom, as you can clearly tell, very little on the entrance there. Bathroom without permits. A close up of the bathroom there, tight space. Kitchenette upstairs in the attic. And now the garage. So from the outside, it looks like a garage. Which can be deceiving. So inside the garage is, it's in finished conditioned space. It's not a parking space, obviously. You got some tiled floor there. A little close up, we got heating as well. And a small kitchenette area, no stove or cooking area, but that can easily be added. And a bathroom. This is again all within the detached garage. And another picture of the bathroom. Well, they weren't happy with that one.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so when we first got this violation, we still had our old zoning, which was a D residential zone. For those who may recall our D residential zone, that was our multifamily zone. But the problem is there's a density requirement. You need 1,650 square feet of land per unit. So if somebody were to legally attempt a four-family, they would need somewhere in the neighborhood of 8,500 square feet of land. This is woefully short of that. This is about 4,000 square feet. So, based on that, owner of record sent a notice of violation on December 5th, 2023. And there's everybody that was involved, fire marshal, health, building, because it's just a litany of issues there. And this is the green card returned, and that is one of the owners, Mohammed Nasir, signed it and got it back from the post office. This was Mohammed emailing me to make an application, had some questions. So gave him a call back as to tell him exactly what he needed. So now time went on, we eclipsed into January there after the holidays. And still, Ian got an inquiry about how to make an application and what's needed. Yeah, I think he did a very good job of explaining that. Just stop here for a second there. No, up top, up on Cindy's phone a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, let's start sharing that again. Okay, so let's scroll down. I tried to save as much as possible. The hearing officer has a lengthy conversation between myself, Ian, the property owner, architect, between January and March. The hearing officer has that. It's about 15 pages worth of correspondence. Anybody again wants to see that, it's here available in the file. But for sake of presentation, just wanted to show that, the architect has, went back and forth with us and did indeed submit some plans. And we said, yes, those plans are adequate to make an application. They did. And keep going. I gave the requirement that they had to have an application in and approved by April 17th, 2024. And keep going, there we go. Keep going, there we go, and there we go. It was approved on the 18th rather than the 17th, but it was an approvable application to remove the illegal units and revert the premises to a single-family residence with an accessory dwelling unit. So the skinny of it is 2 units would have to be removed. 1 accessory dwelling unit could remain. I think it is on the 2nd floor is what they are proposing, thus removing the attic unit and the detached garage unit. So we got a inquiry from the neighbors around Thanksgiving this year, saying that looked like the attic had been reoccupied and a new lock had been put on the exterior door. Doing inspection, I think it was December 3rd or 4th, it's on the photo there. 3rd. And sure enough, there are blinds on the window and there's a new lock on the door. So given this, I said, well, they're obviously not trying too hard here. So I sent a citation for the same thing. They have to remove 2 of the units and bring the property into compliance. So again, that's a citation. My spiel again, Peter did have his service. That's what the hearing officers didn't make it late to the presentation.
The handwriting's bad.
And so on Monday, the property owner came in. I was not in yet. and spoke to, somebody with.
Oil make,
Was he
yes.
in there? So I got somebody here that was a witness, and said that they need 2 to 3 weeks for the removal of the attic unit. So, that's the last page of my presentation. So what we have here, we have a violation to convert it, that was a conversion of a single family to a multifamily. Sent a notice. And a permit was obtained by the property owner. And I will say they also obtained a building permit as well. That was in July. To revert down to a single family with an accessory dwelling unit. The building permit was pulled in July. And then subsequently, we got notification from the neighbors that they have done nothing or extremely little. In fact, they have put somebody back in the attic unit, which was the unit that the health department fire marshal said was not fit for occupancy. So, what we're looking for here is obviously want the violation upheld, first and foremost. Second of all, because the citation was sent on, I believe, the 4th, to today, it's a very minor fine, like $200. So, and also the owner did come in and state they needed 2 to 3 weeks. So my offer is to continue this to February with the requirement that the attic unit is completely removed. The detached stairs, I'm sorry, the exterior stairs to the 3rd floor are completely removed. The door, which you saw in the last picture there, is completely removed. And lastly, I'm gonna throw my own nugget.
Wait, slow her down.
All right, I'm going pretty slow by my standards.
I'm trying to write exterior stairs completely removed.
Okay,
The next thing you have,
that exterior door
exterior door
to attic.
to attic. Removed,
Okay,
okay,
and I'm gonna also throw in the detached garage. Must be, the apartment there must be removed.
okay.
Again, prior to February 12th hearing. At the February 12th, the
It's
maximum,
already here, okay.
the February,
Sorry.
all right, I try. February 12th, the fines could be upwards of $10,000. And I would like respectfully to request the hearing officer mention that in his decision form. Because if those 4 things are not accomplished by the 12th, I will be looking for $10,000.
Should be Cindy.
So, yes, Cindy, if,
What part of that do you get to keep?
no, I can't even buy a notebook with it, anyway,
Cindy, you're good to speak if you want.
Okay. Hi, I just wanted to say that first off, that I've owned my house for 35 years. And these people, our neighbors, have owned their house for 6 years. And the home has deteriorated. They took down mature plantings
Excuse
to,
me one sec. I have an email from you asking that that be read. Would you like to read the email into the record? Would you refer that?
I'm actually sitting in my car right now and I don't have it in front of me.
All right, just. Because I can't read, I'm not gonna be able to read your email into the record, so just go on and tell us.
Okay, I have watched them change the home into a 4-family. And like I had reported it to zoning and nothing had happened. So I reached out to Broderick Sawyer and he was the one that jumped on this. And then I watched people are constantly moving in and out. There's a lot of cars. They constantly block the fire hydrant. They're all parked out in the street. They're very disruptive. And the look of the home has deteriorated so much that we're afraid for our property values. And like I said, I've owned my house for 35 years and I've never had to deal with anything like this before. And I've even been retaliated against because a few of us have reached out to zoning. And they're just looking to turn this house into a moneymaker.
Who's Broderick? Who did you reach out to?
Broderick Sawyer from the fire department.
He was the previous fire marshal. He has since retired, but he's pretty good.
And what kind of retaliation have you experienced?
Well, I filed a police report, but I don't want to say out loud because then they will know exactly what neighbor I am. But I know they know, but I just don't want to confirm it. I know Mr. Hayducky knows exactly. I think Jessica told you how I was retaliated against. But there is a police report.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us?
We'd like for all of this to stop. We would like for the house to look decent. They've made all these changes and they're not even good. I mean, those stairs, I don't know how that was able to go on for as long as it has. It's ridiculous. And we're all afraid of what, how our house is going to depreciate because of what they've been allowed to do. And they stop for a little while when they get a little attention or zoning or the fire department, and then they pick right back up again and start renting out rooms. And like I said, it's very disruptive to our neighborhood.
Anything else?
That's about it.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Cindy.
Anybody else want to speak on this?
Nope.
And I'm gonna roll, and if you want to stay on and question it, I'll let you, that's no problem. Violation found. No fine at this time. Next here. Write this out. Upper level. Unit. Removed. Exterior. Staircase. Removed. Exterior. Door. Entry. Removed. And the detached garage. Unit and living space. Removed. Continue to. Why don't we continue us to February 12th?
I think February is good to let the fine get up there. If this isn't done, we can actually.
February 12th, 2025. Make notice. Okay, that's what we got here.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks for me to sign this.
Yeah, that'll be helpful.
Okay, anybody have anything to say?
Once, twice, going twice. Okay. So we will move on to, what's a good one here, we didn't, I was thinking she'll give Michelle a chance to show up here, seen the, haven't seen this? No, no. Oh, that's fair, that's it. Now we're cooking. All right. I think our next one we'll have is, well, we'll do 2 Muller Avenue. Another new one. Okay, let's start a little bit fresh here.
And let's do. Okay,
Oh, you ready there, Counselor?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
don't think so.
Don't believe so.
Yeah, same people.
Same folks, so why don't we just have some
That's our
onlookers
our
here?
fan base.
Yes. So, basically, this came about, well, first of all, we had this one back in late 2019. It was in front of our, the citation process at the time, for occupancy, without a zoning approval. This one, unlike 2 Men and a Truck, does have a special permit to occupy. They did have a zoning, commission certificate, special permit. And state statute allows the special permits, to be open for 5 years. So once they're approved, they have 5 years. They have to complete whatever municipal requirements there are within those 5 years. They can also ask for up to 9 extensions.
At 5 years each?
1 year each,
Oh.
sorry, 1 year each, but that's a state statute, not ours, that's not our doing. So anyway, every year, the Aquifer Protection Agency, does an inspection of properties within our, aquifer area, the underground water supply. And the Aquifer Protection Agency sent me a, inquiry in June as to the status of this property. And I looked into it and saw that, while they still had an active and valid special permit, they had not obtained any building permits or any other required environmental, approvals. And they were clearly operating up there. They were back in 2019. That's why they were here in the first place, and they're still there operating. So based on that, and, you know, they were up against the, deadline for their 5 years, we said, let's send a notice, get them in. So, the first few pages of my presentation are just the previous, go around. This got dropped, I thought I'd be done saying this. This got put back burner because of COVID. It was continued to, the January 16th hearing. That January 6th, this is 2020, sorry. That meeting was postponed, due to having needing a room to have the hearing. We lost our room. So we were going to reschedule for March, and then COVID happened, and I think we know the rest of the story. So this here is the, approval from the zoning commission for the special permit. The tenant is Sean's Lawns. They're a contractor. They're actually well known. You see their trucks driving around town in the area. And basically at the time that it was an allowed use in the zone, just needed a special permit. And they have a laundry list of requirements for drainage, stormwater, environmental. And, also with the Aquifer Protection Agency, because the building on the property is actually used for, maintenance of their equipment and vehicles. So that's why they need the aquifer, requirements, make sure none of that gets into the ground. So basically fast forward till today. So the ownership is LLC, SLI, Sean's Lawn Incorporated, Norwalk LLC. There's the state, business registry. Keep going, keep going, keep going. There we go. So that's where I sent the notice to, and I also sent the notice to the managing member and agent, second page, second, there you go. Also, sent it to litany of municipal agencies. So and there's a delivery by Constable Bondi. So, sent that, they were working with Aquifer to get their approval, because that is what was the first highlighted requirement of their special permit approval. And so they, upon receiving our notice, they actually did go to the APA, the Aquifer Protection Agency, made an application. However, they rejected it. Probably there was, as you can read, several things lacking. New deadline of May 7th, 2025. Alexis, our assistant director, head of wetlands agency and APA, sent this to me because her request was, we want to make sure they keep moving in the right direction.
Right.
So because of that, and there was quite the gap between our June notice and December. So I just, my apologies, everybody. There, that's a little locational map of where this is. Main Avenue is to the east, Broad Street is along the south. Muller Avenue is on the north side of Broad Street with the connecting streets of, Sniffen and, Pulaski and things like that. So just to get an idea where it is along Route, it abuts Route 7. You actually see it quite well from Route 7. So I sent a citation on December 3rd. Basically for the same thing, just occupancy without full permits, not just us, but other agencies. And again, Constable Bondi services in the packet here. And also, I did get an email from, you may recognize the name again, Andy. He is also handling 215 Martin Luther King. He is their retained engineer for this. And he said they are actively working to get the aquifer up to par. There's a little nugget to this that I haven't brought up. That's why, well, hey, John, this is all conservation aquifer. Why the hell are we here? Why the hell are we here? Once a special permit is issued,
Right.
a zoning approval is also needed, the over-the-counter documentation, which triggers the building permit, fire marshal review, the whole 9 yards. So they submitted the application, the zoning application. However, Brian Baker in our office, the planner who had the file, another requirement for the resolution, they needed to supply a maintenance bond. He cannot release the zoning approval until they supply a maintenance bond. So, where does this bring us? I'm looking for the violation to be upheld, occupancy without permit, without full permits, which I believe that's obvious. I'm looking to continue this to next month. Because fairly easy to get a bond to us. We have to run the bonds through, corporation council. But once they get the bond, that we can issue their zoning approval. Everything else is fine. I mean, we have other agencies like the APA and others that have issues. And that will come to roost when they need their CO, which we're a part of. But I think it's very reasonable for them, a large company like that, to cut us a bond check by January. And if they somehow don't accomplish that, we have some money, they can pay us instead of pay the bond.
Okay. Is everybody done on this now?
I think so.
Yeah, let me find my. I don't have all these envelopes.
So I gotta send it to the, agent and members of the LLC.
Okay. Regulation found. Fine at this time. Let's see. On the bond for zoning approval.
Yep. And bond for zoning approval issuance.
Continue to January 15th. Check that I have that in my calendar. Yeah, it's in there. All right. Continue to January 15th, 2025. Legal notice. One, you may want to stay and I'll explain with curiosity.
Okay.
You stabbed it next? No, I'm
We have one more left. We have, 194 East Avenue.
Hold on a second. What happened to 32 Perry?
Oh, that was why I just really getting the thing, no? Till, January.
So my, so,
Nope, I'm asking for it.
okay, you got it.
Oh.
Okay. 147.
And but as an aside as well for that one, is just our regulation updates. I have to update some paperwork in all likelihood. No. Need a little time to do that. We'll reassess it. So here's the memo.
Sounds like a radio station, WKCR.
Yeah. Oh, that,
Not familiar with this one.
Oh, yeah. This is Mike's Deli.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's hear
This is my lunch and early dinner.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
More than that. I think we have something a little better. So for those are, for a little recap of why we're here, this was for, so those who don't know the address, this is Mike's Deli on East Avenue, of course, St. John's. Nothing wrong with the deli, the, building next door, is supposed to be a two-family residence attached to the deli. Many years ago, the current owner's father put in an illegal third unit in the attic. This was discovered by the fire marshals, well, probably a long time ago, but now that the fire marshals are checking up on these things, forwarded it to us, quite some time ago, to be completely honest. And required that very simply, the attic unit had to be removed. And so, we'll get to the housekeeping real quick. This is, our notice, for hearing today. And it was again delivered by Constable Bondi. And I know that's again. Peter, he's arrived a little late this morning. And so last time we were here was on December 4th, 2024. I'll get it right sooner or later. So this was another one which was kicked initially to the 13th of November, with a $15,000 contingent fine. But again, I clerical error sent it to the wrong Peter. So, I'd kick it to today. I'm not perfect, I'm darn close. Not totally. So this is the building permit and the issue lies in a nutshell here is they've got a zoning permit, they got a building permit. They did the work. Building permit, specifically the plumbing permit aspect, is still open. Thus, the zoning permit's still open and no certificates have been issued. If this sounds familiar, it's because this is the same exact situation we were in September. So the reason it's still here is because to close this out, we need a certificate. The one mitigating factor I have to be honest and present The unit is gone. There is no kitchenette. It is connected with the unit below. They even did a solid and removed the door between the two spaces. It's just an open living recreational space, a bathroom.
So if they were never here before, what would happen today? Would somebody cite them for something?
If, as to how it looks today, if I went inside the house and did an inspection because somebody complained, I would say this is a two-family.
And the plumbing permit is gonna change that?
Well, no, right now, so that's the issue, is that we got the complaint, went in, well, not the complaint, the referral, went in, found a three-family. The cure is
Two-family.
to revert it to a two-family. It's not reverted until a certificate of occupancy and zoning compliance issued.
So the only problem is when we're missing some paperwork.
We are, and,
I'm taking
again,
this
it's,
personally.
not really, I just really would like this off our plate. That's what I would like, but Constable Bondi's service, and I do apologize for those at home that, it's not up there. He did serve Michelle, the owner's wife, at the deli. And the note on the service says that, she needs to go to the building department to close out that plumbing permit. And she agreed. This service was done on the 7th, so Saturday. I haven't heard anything
This was Saturday,
that's when she was served, Saturday.
and this is
Wednesday.
Wednesday, and she hasn't gotten it done yet.
As far as,
Okay.
according to our system, she has not reached out to the building department, she has not, and Bill was out on Monday, Inspector Ireland was out Monday.
She hasn't done what you want in 3 days, is what you're telling
Pretty much, yeah,
me. Well,
I know.
I'm gonna give him more.
I appreciate that, I appreciate that sentiment, but it's,
I know, that's why I say you're taking it personally. Violation not yet cured. Need plumbing permit.
closed, needed closed, they have the permit.
Permit closed. Write that in capitals. Okay. Continued. Is there any contingent fine sitting here?
Yeah, $15,000 worth. You were
Continue,
frustrated with it as much as I was.
continue to, when am I continuing this?
Realistically, this could be done in a week, so
We're not here,
we're not here next week, next one's January 15th.
January 15th. 2025. The fine so far is contingent at how much?
15 grand. We've had this one since, I think, February last year or something like, this past year, for January 2024 or something. So,
All right. Contingent fine raised to $30,000. Maybe that'll wake her up. Still contingent, right? Gets it done, then she can decide, we can decide how much to make it. All right,
oh, so that, ladies and gentlemen, is the conclusion of our hearings. I think we are, do you have any more hearings this year?
Nope, not till, I think you're the next one, so.
I am, and January 15th is when we return, so happy holidays, everybody, and we'll see you in 2025.
Adios. And